Hey guys, it's been a while. This global app patch kind of made me a bit mad, so yeah, I'm just making this video to rant a bit. There's a lot of things I want to rant about, but let's just start with the obvious one, which is RBF. So it's been around 4 months now since we had the ball, and PA said that they were gonna improve RBF and rework RBF. We've been waiting 4 months, and this is the result. We basically just changed the way we do matchmaking. So instead of having all of these channels here, it's gonna be like AoS. So you just click a button and it queues you. So it's basically the same in that aspect. And they promise us better rewards. And the difference in rewards is basically right now you get between 100 mil and a bill from I think it's 2 games or 3. I don't remember. Let me check. So like if you lose 3 times, you get between 100 mil and 1 bill, and if you win 1 time, you almost get enough to get 1 gold box for the same value, right? Most of the money comes from this though, from the gold bar boxes. The difference is that now on the global app you have 50 seals for a win instead of 25, and still 10 for a loss. And the gold bar box, which is this, it's a bit buggy because of my dark page, but the gold bar box basically gives you between 500 mil and 1.5 bill, but you can only do it 3 times a week, right? So basically their improved rewards is just increasing the value on the gold bar box. And if you win, you can instantly get 1 gold bar box. If you lose, you need to lose 5 games to even get 1 of this. So they are actually forcing you to play more if you're being unlucky and getting bad teams, right? Either way, the problem here is that all we got from the supposed 4-month RBF result is a little better rewards that are gated. You can't even play RBF as much as you want to get these rewards, right? And we got basically, let me just check something. I forgot to do that. Yeah, this is 10 mil. That's 10 mil. Okay. And we got basically get rid of Valencia RBF. That's the only good point, by the way. Valencia RBF is finally gone. That fucking map sucks. Everyone says that. The mechanics on the map suck. The mechanic with capturing the points suck. So Valencia RBF finally being gone, that's a good thing. The problem is that we basically didn't need to wait 4 months for this, right? Like, why did we wait 4 months for them to slightly change the matchmaking system and slightly give us better rewards that we actually can't even spam RBF for because they are time gated, right? So that's problem number 1 that made me mad with this patch. Problem number 2 is that we get a Guild League event season. The problem isn't the Guild League itself, is the fact that we've been waiting basically a month and a half since last season ended, and we didn't get the Arena of Solar, which was supposed to come after. If you go into their roadmap even, they said that Arena of Solar was coming at the start of March or end of February, and we didn't get it. I don't understand why. They didn't say anything about it, literally, so we don't know why they just decided to skip Arena of Solar and give us the Guild League event season. But this comes, this just makes me mad specifically because PA is bad at communicating, like always, and they are really bad as well as just fixing their PvP game modes and stuff like that. Extending on that point, for example, we have an issue for basically a couple months now, ever since they changed the DR downs, right, where the new Adana Throne system now allows you to go into it with as many DR downs as you want, right? You can just go full DP in there. And because PA never actually fixed the issue with the game mode being an HP win, we still have the issue where people are just running around trying to survive for as long as they can, just to win until the last second by HP. So PA is incredibly bad at actually fine-tuning their PvP game modes and making them fun, making them engaging, and when they fuck up something, when they do something that fucks up the system, they don't even fix it. Like, they just pretend it's not there. And RBF is a big example of that as well, because Valence RBF has been said to be really bad for years now. There's a lot of spawn camping, a lot of issues where people just go on IDP builds, and then they abuse the fact that they can still do damage because of the enemy getting debuffed when they are on their own points. So PA never did anything about that. Another example is, for example, War of the Roses. War of the Roses got a slight rework, but it's still in a really bad state. There is never any fights. People on the community have been saying over and over and over and over again that War of the Roses should not have any leading guilds, because it's the only way that it will ever be competitive and balanced. So the fact that there's leading guilds always makes War of the Roses into a one-sided matchup that ends in like 15 to 20 minutes, and it makes it unfun to everyone that's playing. It's basically just a back check for whoever is queuing up against the strongest skill on the server, right? So that's another point. That's another example of them not knowing how to balance their game modes. I can give more examples from if we go into Node War, for example, Occupation Node War. We've been asking over and over for years, ever since it released, basically. We've been asking that Occupation Node Wars needs to be able, you need to be able to put every guild in the same region if there's less than, let's say, 10 guilds. Right now they get split into 2 regions, and like, let's say, a region gets 3 guilds and the other region gets 4 or another 3. If every single one of those 6 guilds was on the same region, Occupation would just be more fun. Because Occupation is only fun when there's a lot of regions and a lot of forts on the same region. When there's a lot of guilds and a lot of forts in the same region, Occupation Node War is just more fun. And it's the only time that's actually fun. Because most times what happens when there's not enough guilds is that people are just playing to disengage, they don't actually want to push the fort, there's not enough chaos, there's not enough like engages going on, and the game just becomes more boring on Occupation. I know why they don't want to do this. It's because they are afraid of the mafia from the Korea server or whatever, but they need to understand that it doesn't matter on the other servers, and they shouldn't let their fears dictate the fun of the player. They should worry about our fun more than they should worry about the exploitation of systems in Korea, basically. And I think they don't care about our fun. They only care about their vision, and their vision is we need to stop the mafia of the Korean mafia. So let's just enforce these rules, even though we know that it's not as fun for players, right? Okay. Now the other topic here is due to the balance, and here it's not the fact that they're buffing Suckvalk, because Suckvalk is not a very strong class. It's very good in 1v1s, but that's about it. So them buffing Suckvalk makes sense. The problem is that they're buffing Suckvalk in a way that it's gonna make DR meta, the DR DP meta, it's just gonna make it worse. And they're buffing also Valk in a way that's gonna make it absolutely broken in capped content, especially tier 1s. And I feel like they should be a bit more careful with what they do in certain scenarios. Because what I feel is that they're gonna have to fucking nerf this class into the ground in a couple weeks, or they're gonna let their PvP scene die as people start re-rolling to it. And it comes mainly because of this change here. So from now on, they changed it so the passive from Valk, instead of being plus 500 HP, Suckvalk will heal herself and always around her by 150 HP when she casts any of the skills. She needs to hit an enemy, but in general, like 850 HP whenever she casts any of the skills. In tier 1, that's basically like 25% of your HP, like 20%. So it's basically a 20% heal whenever she casts any of the skills, which it's a lot of them, so she can kind of do it like 2, 3, 4 times, and if the cooldown is low, she's going to do it multiple times, right? So that's a problem in capped, obviously. And then in uncapped, you have the problems that we are still on the DR meta. There's still a lot of people abusing classes that benefit from running DR Dawns. There's still a lot of people abusing the full 6 DR Dawn builds. and adding a melee tank class into the mix that heals the islands around herself is just going to make the problem worse. This is just going to make the problem worse. You're going to basically have a healing turret that can't die, healing the Shais that also can't die, healing the Zerkers that also can't die, healing the Awakening Mystics that also can't die. You see the problem, right? The problem here is that you can't, on the current meta, give a spammable AoE heal to a class. You just can't. It's already bad enough that classes like, for example, I main Sucrusair, right? People run Sucrusair on full DP specifically for 100% heal. It's a heal that's locked behind BSR, so you don't have it all the time. And people still play it on full DP just for that. Just for that. And now you make a tank class that can heal multiple times around itself for 850 HP. It's just going to make the meta worse. The problem here is that PA didn't do enough to actually limit the amount of DR that people can stack. The DR Dawn nerfs were good, but they were not enough. And they're taking too long to act on it again. That's the thing. And it also makes construction node wars worse, that DR Dawns are still broken, because it basically makes the body throw meta still way too good. That's a problem because PA still hasn't increased the DR of structures, which is something that the community said over and over, but they don't care, obviously. So in construction node war, you need to increase the DR of structures so people that run less AP do less damage to structures so they can't body throw as efficiently, right? PA hasn't done that yet. And in general, you need to basically make it at this point so any class that's not a Shy, or any class in general, shouldn't be able to run more than 2 DR or 2 Evasion Dawns. I think that's like the hard cap, that's the bottom line. You should be 100% cap the DR Evasion Dawns to 2. And you should go on Shy, and you should make Shy tankier by default. Like, you should take the Shy kit and just change it so the class is a bit tankier without needing to run 6 DR Dawns. Right? That's how the game should work. Because also this is a problem, because Shy is a class that people don't like to play on capped, because the class is squishy, it's not super protected, and it just kind of dies on cap because of that, because they don't have the 6 DR Dawns to counteract the fact that the class is not good at defending herself, right? So you should be doing something about Shy specifically, so she doesn't need to rely on the 6 DR Dawns, so you can then cap the DR Dawns to 2 max. And even 2, I think, is too many. Because I've been playing Seraph on 0, I've been playing Crusader on 0, I know multiple people that play their classes on 0, and it's playable. The game is still playable. It just requires more skill, more awareness, more better positioning while you're in large scale. So it just requires you to be better at the game. The only thing that the DR Dawns do is make the game easier if you are not good at it. Right? It's a crutch for players to rely on, and that's what also makes the game bad, because the game didn't used to be like that. Back in the day, if you were bad at the game, the only thing you saw was the gray screen. And you either get better, or you get better. That's it. Those are the 2 options. Or then you quit the game. You quit PvP. But that never happened. People just try to get better, right? Or then they go whatever is flavor of the month to try and compensate the fact that they're bad at the game. But in general, the game was just more about skill back then. And nowadays, because of every class having a really good SA rotation, being super protected, and in general having the crutch of DR Dawns, the game just became way less skilled, right? And that's pretty much it for my rant. I just wanted to complain a bit because the global out patch actually made me bad. And yeah, that's it. Bye bye, guys.